Hello and good evening, everyone. Thank you for bearing with us. We had technical difficulties, but we are women and a broadcast of perseverance. So all has been resolved and we are on live. We are determined to
Yes.
hear the love story of the Howards. So y'all just come on in and we
Yes.
already had some people like, where y'all at? We here, we here. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Welcome to Chilling with Purpose, the broadcast that rescues the heart and the mind. And let me tell you, when did we start this? In July, right? Okay. We
Yes.
started this the first Tuesday or the second Tuesday in July of our marriage series, our love story, how we met. And let me tell you, they have all been awesome. And so we decided to keep having awesome people. And so tonight, the awesome people are Mr. and Mrs. Lewis Howard.
Woohoo! Don't you know it? Don't you know it? Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Give it up, give it up, give it up. Give it up.
Let me tell you, they are some precious and funny. Don't get it twisted just because she can preach like a beast and he can handle the church people like a beast. They are funny people.
See, come on here. Come
And so
on.
we're gonna have a good time tonight. Y'all
Yes.
come on in and join us
Yes.
to learn about this beautiful couple's love story and how faithful God has been and how they have navigated life
Yes.
and maintaining a healthy marriage. You all have heard me say more and more when people brag about how many years somebody's been married or you've been married, I always ask, is it a healthy marriage?
Wow. Yeah.
Because the number doesn't mean much if
Come.
the marriage is abusive,
That's
if
good.
you're not being treated right, if the marriage is not healthy, you're just a number in the system.
Yeah.
We want marriages like that.
Come
We
on.
want the marriages that are ordained of God, and this marriage is
Mm.
ordained of God. So,
Yes.
Mr. and Mrs. Howard, how long
Hey.
y'all married?
Hey, what's up, y'all? What's up, peeps? Listen, this is God orchestrated, God ordained. Listen, this is the day that the Lord has made. I know. See, Lewis he just cuts right to the chase. You know, I'm going all the way around, the bush. And what's that? They traveled around the mountain for 40 years. He's 9 years. Listen.
And he just cut right on across, like, I'm here.
9 years.
9 years.
9 years. That is beautiful. Now, you both on this round married late in life, correct?
Yes.
Yes, very much so.
Yes.
He said very much so, not just
Yes.
late in life, but very much so late.
Very
in life.
much so. Absolutely.
Yes.
And interesting enough that this is my second marriage. And so knowing that, this second time around Lewis's first marriage. So yeah, he really, and he'll tell you, that story, what that meant to him. But for me, it was like after the first marriage, it was like, you know what, I'm not doing this again. Knowing that what I know now, it's like, man, I'm so independent, and I have to learn how to be dependent and how to do it the God way, because being raised a strong Black woman, and taking care of yourself and all that good stuff, y'all. Again, we'll keep diving into it. That what it means to lean and allow the man and the man of God, particularly, to help us to take the weight off. Come on, women, we don't have to carry
Yes.
tires and change the oil and all that kind of stuff. So I'm still learning how to let go and let God have God's way in this marriage. Absolutely. So I've been married before,
Okay.
but yeah. Mm-hmm.
That is beautiful. Well, I'm gonna let y'all delve in, and I would love to even hear, because let me tell you, your husband is so handsome. So to hear, look, he's like, who's that? Your wife is beautiful, but I'm gonna tell you why I'm saying you're so handsome. We get stuck on the, well, you're so handsome. Why was this your first marriage so late in life? So I am excited to hear Why so late in life? So just
Well,
tell your love story. Go ahead.
I never thought I would get married. Marriage was not a part of my goal, my picture of my life. Did
Okay.
not did not include me being married. That was just that was there, and I came to Denver here when I was rather young, even though I can remember how long ago that was. Um, and I was attending the
Yeah, Pilgrim Rest.
Pilgrim Rest Baptist Church, where Hayward Hobbs was the music director, and it was full of young people, and that's where I chose to be as far as church was concerned. And of course, it wasn't because I was so involved with the word. I was there because it was where all the young people were.
That's good. Come on here.
And
Yeah.
so that went on for years. And Shorter came into to the picture, and I realized that Reverend Boyd had significance that made me want to be there for the word.
Okay.
And that just that pretty much helped me to decide why I was there. Not only that, but I would go into Bible study even. And on one particular evening, after having watched this lady that is my wife today, watched her for a long time in the pulpit. And that particular evening of Bible study, I gave my card to her best friend and asked her to would she please give that card to Pastor Charlene, Reverend Charlene, and let her know that I would like to have coffee or tea with her.
Oh.
And so she did give her my card, and when Bible study was over that particular evening, she came to me and said, I gave her the card, but I can't promise you she's going to respond at all. And I said, well, let's hope so. So a couple of more weeks on Sunday, after the service in the foyer that is, the pastors would be lined up, shaking hands of the congregation. And of course, I got in line.
Oh God. Oh God.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Help me, Jesus. Help.
I got in line. And of course, when I got to her to shake her hand, I asked her, would you like to have tea with me? We could have coffee. Let's go have some coffee. Would you mind? And she paused and okay, that's just for coffee. And I said,
no more, no less.
We're not doing no Netflix and chill, right?
I said, well, I'm going outside, and I'll wait for you, and we can go. I'll drive. She says, no, I have my own car. I'll drive. And of course, she met me to make a long story short, she met me there, and it was wonderful. I was stuttering more then than I am now. But it meant so much to me because I had been looking at her, and she was different than anyone else in the pulpit except for. But yeah, she was different, and but I after it'd been so long for me not even considering marriage ever being a part of my life, I still couldn't see that wasn't deep enough for me. So when we finished, I brought her back. We came back rather. Then Shorter was having 2 services, one early in the morning and one at 10. And so some kind of way, I don't recall how I got her number.
From the bulletin.
Got her phone number. And I start calling her. And when she didn't want to talk, she would say that. So I would call and say, "This is Lois. I just wanted to let you know that I was thinking about you today," and la, 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 la. She says, "Well, thank you very much. All right, I've got some other things to do." Click. And this went on for quite a while, actually.
That's not holy. Facebook friends, that's not holy. Continue.
But there was that evening that I called her and she sounded down. And I said, "What is the matter?" She says,
I'm so sick. Yeah.
She was sick.
Super
She
sick.
sounded sick.
Yeah.
I said, "Well, you've got to do something about it." You know, that was wonderful for me because that created a conversation, a topic that is. And so I told her, I said, "You know, you have to get you some medicine, some pain medication, and get this taken care of. You can't just sit there and, sick. Is there anything I can do?" No, there's nothing. But anyway, we hung up. I went to the drugstore and got these pills and some cough medicine and something else.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I went over and rang her doorbell.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
she
wait.
know.
How
There's
did
a
you
lot.
know where she lived?
Exactly. It's a whole lot that he left out. Yeah, exactly.
You
We went on a
see?
couple of dates, before that.
Oh, okay. Continue.
we
You
didn't
got
have
to
a date.
the store.
Yeah, we went to like a Chinese restaurant, because he's not a big eater. So he was trying to impress me by, taking me out. And I like to eat, just bite me to eat. Anybody want to eat, just bite me. And so he Chinese restaurant, he's not a big eater, particularly even like eating out. So I think we went to the coffee, we went to a Chinese restaurant and somewhere else before knowing where I lived. So I'll fill in some more. What were you gonna say, honey? So you brought me the medicine.
Ring the doorbell. You open.
Oh, yeah.
I really didn't know which way I was going to go with that.
Yeah.
But I said, here's some medication here.
Yeah.
So she went in the bag, one thing at a time,
Yeah.
and that itself, I think, got her attention.
Yes, absolutely.
That got her attention, and that was the first time, really.
Yes, that's true.
As far as I was concerned, even though she just said we went and had.
Yeah, some Chinese or absolutely.
I didn't like that stuff.
Yes, exactly. And so so there's some pieces to the story that is just so beautiful because I was not really giving Lewis the time or day. I mean, as a minister that was on staff, if you will, or on the ministerial team, not on staff at Shorter, but on the ministerial team at Shorter, that it was like, ladies, a dime a dozen. So come on here, Evangelist Mary, I see as lady preachers, they come a dime a dozen. And so it's just like, whatever, I just put him with everybody else. Wasn't interested, I'm just not that kind of gal. I'm not, I don't need a man, all that in my head. And furthermore, just had come out of my own first marriages. It had probably been 3-5 years. And so I wasn't really, really interested in anything or anybody. So I really gave him a hard time. I mean, he pursued, he would stay after service and kind of just watch, and I just ignored. I'm like, okay, whatever. And then like he was saying, he called me, and because my number was in the bulletin, I was the minister of the new disciples class. So my phone number was in the bulletin. I have learned, don't put your phone number in the church bulletin, y'all. And so he called me absolutely one day, and I was attitudinal, if that's a word, attitudinal. I had an attitude like, how in the world you get my number? And then I realized it was in the church bulletin. And so after 2 or 3 calls, he would call me I would just like, listen, no, not interested. And then finally, to his point, I think we went to a Chinese restaurant, like on our first date, but not really a date. And
like, she was still resisting. She was still resisting.
Right.
Without a doubt.
I'm like, he's so persistent. And I was so mean to him. I was like really pushing him away. Like, let me, you're a dime a dozen. Like, okay, we're going to see how long you going to stick around. Because sister girl got an attitude. And, how many brothers are going to put up with that for so long? Come on here. And, but he just kept coming. He was so patient and he was so loving. Even right now, he has not changed based on what I didn't see. 15 years. We've known each other now 15 years. We've only been married for 9. Mm-hmm. And so when I got sick, that was the breaking point for me to say, Charlene, let that wall down. And this man, you try to drive him away. You've been mad. You've been evil to him, all those kinds of things. But he kept sticking around. And when I got sick, and I had a handful of people that I could call, but I really don't necessarily take a lot of medicine. So I was just going to let me just sleep and that kind. And when he had called that day and I was just so sick, I didn't even really know who to call to bring me anything. And, hopefully this won't get him in medical. He said I had been sick too. And he had gotten a prescription from his doctor and he still had some more medicine left over. And he brought that medicine that you're not supposed to take. People prescribe medicine, Facebook friends. Do not try this at home, all right? Don't y'all do it.
Well, all us chocolate families, we share medicines.
So went to the drugstore.
Yes, and he also got some over-the-counter medicine as well. Mm-hmm. That's what really broke me down, is when he did that. After all the many attempts of just trying to get in and I wouldn't let him in. When I got sick, I'm like, wow, he didn't have to do. He's like, you know what? She got an attitude. Ain't nobody got time for that lady. And he came and that medicine helped me. And that was the beginning of, let me just give him at least a chance.
Yeah. You see, I had come a long way. And as far as dating, it was very simple. It was something that it was very easy to do.
Because Apostle, you said he cute, so yeah.
Well,
so
No. My point is that it wasn't that difficult to get a date. That was there.
Tell the truth about it, yes, sir.
But this was different. Yeah. This was a completely different matter altogether, and I knew that. So I was going to pursue it until it was proof. Yeah. It was complete 100% proof that I should not try this anymore. Yeah. But that didn't happen.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So we
sitting here today.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And when I was on the ministerial team at Shorter, I had probably about 2 years in, because kind of like the first 6 months, 8 months, it was kind of on the down low. Again, I just don't like, I like doing things in decency and order. And again, I was in that mode of like, oh, well, preachers can't really date. If you're not going to marry, then don't be trying to date. What's this courting thing about? Like, and so in my mind, theologically and psychologically, that was kind of where I was in terms of somebody being in the forefront. So how can you say you dating? Like, because I didn't know if it was going to be a marriage. So dating to me is not just dating and hanging out. What is this perhaps going to become? And probably for about 6 to 8 months, we kind of kept it on the down low. Mm-hmm. And then I got an appointment to an AME church in Montbello. And so right when I got my appointment, about 2 or 3 months later, he had proposed to me at the church I was appointed to, my first pastorate. So
he was not intimidated by you being a pastor. You were a pastor in the making, so I'm gonna just jump to the end. Yeah. He wasn't intimidated by you being a woman in ministry who turned out to be a full-blown pastor.
Right.
He was not intimidated by your pushing him away.
Yeah.
That gives hope that men were designed for pursuit of the woman.
Right. Wow.
And he did his due diligence. Yes.
Yeah, he sure did,
Yeah.
man.
I
He
love
sure did.
it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm
And he
almost tempted to say you getting sick was a setup.
see,
Yes.
come on here, come on here, right. Because I'm like, now I could have called, because I don't have a lot of, close friends, if you will. But I was like, okay, I had at least two people I could have called. But he called at that right time. And it was just like there was nothing because I couldn't really get my head up off the pillow. I really couldn't, barely could get to the door to open it. And he was at that right place at that right time to say, you know what, okay, he's serious about this, because who would keep pursuing
Right.
if she just keeps having an attitude? I'm just trying to say, can we go for coffee? That's all. Maybe you can help me with some prayers. And I had a whole different view of what that was looking like. And absolutely, yeah, God ordained. And the fact that um when he proposed, it was many opportunities that I was just trying to give him a way out. Like, listen, I've done this before, I'm not doing this again, only to go down that route of divorce, because that's certainly not God's plan, and it's not what I desire, or why marriage is the way marriage should be. That you should work out the hard things, the hard places, and the spaces of our lives if we're intending to grow old, if you will, together. That we're always getting to know one another. And so with that, trying to give him many opportunities to get out during our engagement, but yet and still he still hung in there.
When I proposed to her, my mind was made up as to
I know
who
I
who this person
Yeah.
was,
Mhm.
and the effect that she I couldn't even tell her, put in words what effect she was having on me because of her being so spiritually charged. And it was something that I had never experienced before, where you get up praying and you go to bed praying, and it was wonderful. And once I proposed to her, I knew that this was life. This wasn't for next year. This is forever. And and so we sat around on our dining room table, our dining room table now. We sat there many nights putting together and planning this wedding. And the wedding, as far as I'm concerned, was perfect. Was absolutely perfect. We got married at Rising Star Missionary Baptist Church, and I was looking at one of the programs earlier today, and it was amazing, the individuals today that was participants of that wedding. It was really, really wonderful, wonderful. And then we left there that particular evening and went to Hawaii and had a wonderful time there. And and we've been traveling ever since. We have in San Francisco, there's a beach called Stinson Beach, just outside of San Francisco, in Sausalito. And we go to that particular beach because at the very end of the walk of the sand is this huge, I want to say rock, but it's much larger than that. And we have claimed it as our rock. When we go to San Francisco, that's what we do. We go to Sausalito and then go to the Stinson Beach, and that's where we spend probably an entire day.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's just wonderful. Knowing how long we had been engaged, for about 6 years. And it was that time that nobody needs to be engaged that long, for sure. And when I was telling you about how I was just trying to give him outs, because this was his first marriage, like, are you really sure about this, what you're getting into? Somebody who's strong-willed and determined, and he just kept hanging in there, kept coming back, kept staying, kept working it out. And then it was just that year, like January of 2014 came around, and we were like, this is the year. We're like May 31st. And so it just happened. We didn't set a date. We were just going to let it just happen. And that's what happened when 2014 came around. It was like, this kind of seemed to be the year. And we decided May 31st. So the church, we got married in May of 2014, and September of 2014, the Church of Issues of Life was launched that same year. So yeah. So we've been gone. Yeah, it's been the two of us, just the two of us.
Hey,
We can make it if we try, just the two of us.
get it now.
Hey.
Okay, that's a moment right there. That's a moment. Kissy. Yes. Yes. That is so beautiful.
Two.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a question before I turn this over to our panelists.
Yeah.
A 6-year engagement. Was it 6 years because you were still trying to get out of it?
Right. It was just 6 years, just because it was 6 years. And it was 6 years because was I even sure of myself, of being a wife? What did I do wrong, or how did I not show up in my first marriage? And am I going to be that same person to Lewis? And so all that going through my mind, but at the same time, it was just what it was, that it was the evaluation of that. I mean, we didn't kind of plan on the 6 years. It just became year after year, after year.
Okay.
But in processing that now, Apostle, is just identifying that, man, was I really ready? Did I really want this? Because I'm thinking, well, he's going to leave, or I'm going to do something that he doesn't like because I'm strong-willed, and he wants to be the head of the household. He wants to be the man. He wants to be helpful and supportive and participate in all of that. So was it going to be something that I would drive him away? So again, in this hindsight, that's my thought. But while we were in it, or while I was in it, I wasn't really thinking about it, other than the fact that it's just going to be whatever it's going to be. So if we get married today or next year, okay, year after year after year, it just became one thing after another, 1 year after another, until now, over these 9 years, processing it. Like, why did it really take so long?
Mm-hmm.
So in that hindsight, Charlene, were you really ready? And did I not want to hurt Lewis, knowing that I had been married before? I had experienced that, but he had not. And I wanted him, to love me and to love himself, and for this to be as God ordained as it could possibly be, and not want to hurt him at all. So I think that's
beautiful.
Yeah. You know why it took 6 years, honey? Did you?
Because it was just as important as the wedding.
Wow.
It was just as important as the wedding. So we had to treat it the same way, and make sure that this is forever.
Yeah.
And
kind of OG. Silent OG, like I'm calm, cool, and collected, but I'm an OG.
Well, okay.
Look, he like, I'll take it. That's so beautiful.
Yeah. The word is
what?
When I
wedding.
When I give you the ring.
The engagement.
Engagement.
Also, yeah.
Our engagement meant just as much as the wedding would to me. So we let that sink in and just keep it mellow and have it, make it a part of us. I mean, it's in our blood. The engagement.
Yeah.
So that when the wedding comes around, and that's why I mentioned preparing the wedding, planning the wedding a moment ago, is because once we decided we were definitely going to be married Well, I don't know. We had to. We didn't decide on a particular date, but we knew it was time to get married.
Mm-hmm.
So we sat at the dinner table and started planning it, just as I did the
engagement.
The engagement.
Yeah, yeah. And he proposed the day after Valentine's. I mean, because he knows just anything, even before the marriage, that, you know, high days, Mother Days and Valentine and all. It's like, listen, sir, don't get me anything, my birthday or anything like that. It's just like whatever you do, you can do it on a Tuesday on June 3rd, and it
like
bring
that.
flowers. So don't just do it because it's Valentine's Day or it's my birthday. And so he proposed the day after Valentine's Day, because he knew that it's like, no, I don't go for any of that. You don't have to hype me up on those days. Hype me up on a day that's not a hype day, but I'm still gonna be hyped. Yeah.
Right. I like that. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do too. Oh boy.
What does he have?
I'm sorry.
Yep.
I was asking my co-host if they had any questions.
I was going to say, first of all, I have to say this. You all are such a beautiful couple. Nobody will know that you all only married for 9 years.
Right.
My question, I thought when you were talking about it, I said, you keep saying that she was different. And the thought that came to me was, once you put your eye on her, I already said they were married. She was not a goner. She didn't know. She did not know that she was already hooked. She just didn't know it as yet. What made her different? What made, because you were single, never thought about getting married, but there was something about the Charlene that caught your heart and you could not let it go. Something stirred. What was it about her?
Believe it or not, it was godly. She was so spiritually charged. Wow. I mean, as I stated a moment ago, and it's today. Today it's the same way. When there's an issue, if it's something that we have to give a lot of thought to and a lot of conversation about, and and not sure how we're going to put that together and whatever. We always have to, where we have to put it. In the hands of the Lord.
Yes.
And that's the way it was then. And that was different from me. I had done a lot of dating.
Come on here. Yeah.
I had done a lot of dating.
A lot
of dating. Really, yes. I went to school at Wiley College in Marshall, Texas on a football scholarship.
Oh.
So yes. But everything about Charlene was different from any of the dates that I had previously. Completely different, and I enjoyed the mystery.
Nice.
I did. I enjoyed the mystery, and so much so that that's what kept us together. From my side of the picture. Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
You know what? I think that is so beautiful, because the thought that came to me is, so many people don't think that when a woman is godly and fear God and that it's not attractive. But most men, I know she's beautiful. Ooh. She's a beautiful woman. But most men would say, oh, pretty face, did you see her? But I know that's there, but you were attracted. There was something, God in her. And that God in her couldn't turn you away. It drew you to her.
Yes.
And that to me is like, listen, we could shut down right now and meditate on that.
Hey,
yes.
Y'all ain't with me. Come on here.
Yes.
That is hilarious.
I try to tell y'all, don't put me on the Facebook. Come on here.
Oh, that's great. That's
Yeah.
great. That's
Beautiful.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's real.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's like what you
It's
said,
real.
Sandra, on this whole notion of, draw me. You know that song, draw me, draw. So I saw him running after you. I mean, and to know that the Spirit of God can draw us to where we ought to be in God, whether it's that godly relationship or just drawing closer to God in the relationship with Him. Either way, it's all good because
Yes.
God's set up for us to have all that God has intended for us to have on this earthly life and in this earthly life. And it's just amazing that, like Lewis was saying, the many relationships are dating, and to know that, man, like, why, like Mary, like, why me? Why
Yeah.
me, Gabriel? Like, hey, beautiful Mary, I got some good news for you. Mary, like, what? I've never been with a man. What are you talking about? And to know, absolutely, Evangelist Mary, identify that, wow, that yes, be it unto me, Lord. Be it unto me as you have said, Gabriel. Be it unto me, Lord, as you have ordained this to be. And I don't have to have barriers and walls up, that there is someone that God has sent to love me unconditionally, and that I don't have to put on airs. Now, let me tell you, when we went on the coffee shop and the date, y'all already know, you ain't got to pay for my food. I got this. I got enough. Listen, I got to pay for nothing. I was hard. I was, honey, it ain't gonna be nothing. Don't start nothing, won't be nothing. So I'll pay my own.
That is hilarious.
Those days have changed.
I was
Now,
about to say,
girl,
I'm sure he was just being gracious, because I know Mr. Lewis know how to put the hammer down when he needs to put the hammer. And he might be smiling doing it. Now listen here, honey. That ain't how this is going down.
Right,
It's
you
where
already
to
know.
sit down.
You already know. You already know.
God has been so good to me. Let me just say that He's been wonderful. It's amazing to me how wonderful He is and how great He's been with me and for me for all these years. When we got married, I was retired. I was retired after 25 years with the state of Colorado.
Wow.
I mean, I wasn't even working. Here we were having this beautiful wedding on our way to Hawaii the following day, and much traveling that we've done since then, and I can't even begin to tell you how grateful I am with how good God has been.
Hallelujah.
He has been so good. Not has been. He is. He is. I mean, every day of my life, I know this. I know it. And I am grateful. I am grateful. I mean, yes, Charlene is just part of the many wonderful things that He's done for me.
That's
He's made me special to me, even more special.
wow.
To me. Oh my goodness. He's just, this is so true. I can't even, obviously I can't put into words how wonderful He's been.
Yes.
And is.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
He is.
Hallelujah.
Oh,
God.
He is.
Yeah. He's still making us and molding us and shaping us. And Lewis is shy, by nature, but he's so funny.
Yes.
So he's so funny. He just makes me laugh every day. There's something that we're laughing about. And it's just beautiful that whatever it is, it was something. He's like, I was in the room earlier, working on a work call. And so when I came out the room, we have like a little loft so you can look down in the living room. So I was like, oh, honey, what you doing? And so after about 10, 15 seconds, he was like, well, I was praying. I was talking to the Lord. And I was like, I kind of did that little snoot, like, you don't see me. Okay, well, don't let me interrupt. And we just kind of had a little chuckle with that of like, don't let me interrupt in you talking to the Lord. And so, yeah, every day is good.
Yes.
Every day is learning. Every day is fun and laughter and challenges. Listen, it ain't bed of roses, but we don't wallow in the challenges or the differences or the misunderstanding or the over communicate or under communicate. But we grow to understand, where did I miss the mark? What didn't I do, or what didn't I say, so that we can continue to be better at loving one another in Jesus' name. Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
We're happy. We are.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, Lewis was he again, so modest. And so again, I learned all these stories from him, of him saying, he's like, oh, what's she gonna say? He was a model for Macy's, a Madian F, or so he was a male model in the
He's like, don't do it. Not even shocked, Mr. Lewis. Not even shocked.
Yeah.
Maybe an F.
Maybe an F. Yeah. Those Sunday papers that you used to get, and they would have the coupon, or not the coupon, but the sale, and you see so back in, I don't know how long it's been, but now you only can get those newspapers at the library. But
Yeah. Did you do one pose like with your hand in your pocket with your
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Like,
we need pictures.
I know.
Maybe an F. May Department Stores is of the same company as Macy's, and it was called May D&F, May Daniel and Fisher, and I was a buyer for them. I bought for the men's and youth department, and that's when sometimes certain individuals would come in that were putting the newspaper together or the ads together, would ask me to join them, and sometimes I would find myself in the paper, that is. But those were good. I mean, that just goes to show you how far back the Lord has been so good to me.
Wow.
That's what that's about.
Yeah.
My.
Yeah. So that's where we are, y'all. That's pretty much it. There's no episode 2 and episode 3, or you know how we see all that on Netflix. We're still on episode 1, and that's it. Give us another 9 years to get to episode 2. Yeah. Still moving and shaking in the things of God, and learning to enjoy life and each other as full-time leaders in the kingdom of God, the assignment that the Lord has us on. As I certainly walk in my call and my purpose won't ever change as being one called out. My assignments may look different as the years and seasons and months go by, but understanding that my assignment as a pastor right now in this season is just, in 9 years of now learning how to balance, this full-time ministry and the full-time marriage. And while you're trying, not that I'm trying to grow a church, just trying to be available to God to do what God is called me to do, because I can't grow a church. Some water, some plant, but God gives the increase. And so I want to do my part as God has purposed in his heart for me to do for such a time as this, without losing sight of the fact of putting God first and honoring, again, the blessings of our friends and our families, and don't lose sight of enjoying life. And so that's why I can laugh and just be, one with you all, and just be happy, because there's a lot of stuff to be mad about, but that's not going to change anything. And it takes very little to laugh and to smile. But it takes a whole lot of muscles, as you all know, to be mad and upset and get your blood pressure up and all that. So yeah, so we're in this now year of really like, yeah, where are we going next? What are we doing next? So I don't know if y'all saw my Facebook post from Saturday. You know, we went to Golden, and so little things like that of just getting out, getting our mind off of church all day,
Right.
and
That's
really enjoying life. Yeah.
important. I like Golden.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
So how have you guys so your ministry and marriage are in the same year. You're coming up on celebrating 9 years as Issues of Life. How did you and are you navigating ministry, especially later in life, marrying later in life, and then months later, not even a year or two later, months later, you birthed the ministry. So what did the navigation look like?
Oh, that's good. I mean, yeah.
I pretty much followed her.
I love it. Okay.
I did. Until I saw that she was at a point where she needed some assistance. She wasn't sure about completing a particular issue. Then I would immediately include myself and make sure that it was done in a way that we could both see it was right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much it as far, and that has a lot to do with where I am today, how I am today, because she's my pastor.
Well, let the church say amen. That's the end of the episode. Bye.
Amen. Right? You like, come on down the street here, baby.
Yes.
The hallway.
That's the truth.
Yeah. Amen.
Isn't it?
Yes, that's good.
Look, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, right. I mean, just to hear him say it, and every now and again he'll say, you know, Pastor, what's what we got going today or something. It's just like, you know, it always takes me aback whenever I hear him say that, because it just warms, it just melts me. Like I don't see myself as his leader, sort of as his pastor, you know, because we do things together. And so when he says that, it's like, wow, like, okay, God, like, wow, this is so I mean, how is it any different than any other male? Excuse me,
back to Sandra's question earlier about the timing of 6 months, 6 years, that is. And this was one of the things that caused that time to pass so fast.
Wow.
Is because I had to realize that this is my pastor.
Wow.
Not and believe it or not, you know, I bounce back and forth now, girlfriend, wife, pastor. You know, so
the fun is she's all rolled into one.
That's right. That's right. Look, especially at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's beautiful. I mean, just knowing that the support, you know, when I came to him and it's like, you know, honey, I believe the Lord is saying it's just time to launch, start, begin, whatever the word is, an Issues of Life church. And the name itself, identifying that we are Church Unusual, in the way that says we just want people to come, saved, unsaved, to learn the word, to be taught the word, not religion, not how to do the order of service, but to really have that relationship with God. So again, seminary trained, all of that. And the first 2 years, or really 3 years of the church launching as non-denominational, it was very hard for me to make that transition. God had to grow me in a way that Charlene, get all this Greek and Hebrew and you eisegeting and exegeting the text, because the people know nothing about that. I had to learn that as a leader, because it only makes sense to you, Charlene. It's not making sense to why I ask you to be a vessel of making just the word plain. Now people want to go into inductive and deductive Bible study, the mature believer that really want to be stretched in the things of God. Then that's for that 400, 500 class series, that we go to when we go to college. You don't start off in the 3 and 4 level classes. You start at the 1 level.
Right.
And so it took me 3 years really to come out of that whole structuredness and trying to, impress people with education, when in fact, all they just wanted to know is how can I be saved? What must I do to be saved? And how do you make that plain to people that may have been in a system whereby it has been cumbersome, and let them you got to stick with it. Just stick with it. So in the beginning, absolutely, the marriage and the ministry, we started in Gateway High School. We were lugging speakers. We were lugging, all kinds of things to set up 30 minutes before, and then trying to break down to stay within the time frame of the 2 hours. So we did that for really 4.5 years, until we got the space where we are now, where we've been for 4.5 years of the ministry, and we're now just getting to that balance, Apostle, of what you're talking about, of saying, you know what, we don't ever, I don't care if we travel, we're back in Colorado at 6 a.m. and we going right to the church. We don't say, well, I just got in, so I'm tired, so I can't preach today. No, whatever we got to do, we make sure we're there, and making sure that there's a word, a prayer, for the people. And so being able to balance that in a way that says, right now, it's okay to be on summer break, so to speak. But come on Sunday, we still going to have that word, but all the other activities, listen, you enjoy your family. We're going to enjoy our family. On Sundays, we know people travel, all that good stuff. So we've just learned that during the pandemic, really, when we didn't have no choice but to be still. And then it was like, this feels okay. It feels different because, not being able to touch. But now it's like, okay, you know what? You don't know when your last moment is going to be on the earth. And enjoy every moment. So we're just now getting into balancing the two. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And I still have some work to do, because I think I've not taken like a real vacation from the ministry, if you will, sabbatical. So I'm learning to do that, and saying, you know what, if that means, okay, go somewhere, go to a ministry that's teaching the word, and we're just going to be off for a Sunday in terms of the leaders, or again, growing up leaders within issues of life to keep the service, if you will, going. So we're managing that. We're just learning how to do that now. Yeah.
That is awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Ladies, you have any other questions for our guests today?
I have a question. You talked about the reason why it was so long during the 6 years. Was there anything that your husband did to support you during that transition?
Oh, yes, Selena, that's great. His patience. Lewis has a whole lot of patience. Listen, I'm an East Coast girl. Come on, I go 0 to 100. I know that ain't godly, that ain't holy. If you're saved and you work on yourself. Come on here. I go 0 to 100 real quick. And he's so patient. And he's teaching me this level of why you so uptight. Just calm down. And then I want to fight. Because when you tell me calm down, now I want to fight. Don't tell me calm down. And so the Lord knew what I needed and know what I need, because he helps to certainly balance me out of like, just chill, just mellow out. Let's talk about it. Let's sort things out. And Selena, during
call
those
on him.
And call on him. Absolutely. The one who calls on that preaches the name of Jesus have to remind me, call on him. Come on here.
Wow.
How much sense to help me make that make sense.
All right.
And so his patience, his intuitiveness. Because not only I'm very open. I like people, so I'll talk to people. I'll trust you out the gate. And then that's when I get hurt, when again something backfires, and I'm like, well, I've been open and honest, and I don't understand why. And I'm crying and I'm hysterical, and he's calm. So his level of helping me through, again, knowing or not knowing, why is it taking so long? I think he too, had to realize as well, like, she really is the one, and I'm gonna spend the rest of my life with her. There's not gonna be anyone else in the many again relationships or dating that he's been in, that even giving Lewis that time and that space to be like, wow, there's not gonna be anybody else. I can't change it up from Friday to Saturday. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Right.
I can't change that thing up from one weekend, from one day to the next. Right. And so I think it was also giving him that space of like the engagement, and then what does that really mean in those 6 years? Like, this is the one, when she gets on your last nerves, or, and he's not a big eater. Like, if she don't cook, which he doesn't, I don't have to cook every day or anything like that. Like him having to make that decision even for himself of like, she's going to be the one and only that I'm going to have to wake up to every day and every night. And then the other thing with that, Selena, there was some medical things before we got married that I had to attend to, and they were some life-threatening things. And he was right there, and handling it when I didn't know what was going on. The doctors were talking to him, and asking him on, okay, what decisions need to be made. And he was right there pushing me. Come on, you can't stay in this hospital bed. You gotta get up. Let's get up. Let's start walking. Let's start moving. So wow. He even pushed me even before, while we were engaged, through some serious medical things, and encouraged me. So he's helped me in so many.
Oh, look, he's like,
1 second, please. Hold, please. Right? Hold, please.
Go for it. Go for it. I love that, because I'm catching that you said before marriage.
Yes.
He was there.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
He was already being a husband before he became a husband. Right. Again, ladies, I'm trying to tell you, I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
absolutely.
Boy.
So
wonderful.
I love it.
Yeah.
Angela, what's up?
I'm sorry.
I was just going to ask if the trauma, rejection, and the drama from the first marriage is what took the engagement 6 years, but then since you say you had all that other stuff, then so maybe that wasn't part of it.
Right. Exactly. And I really don't believe so. But it was in the back of my mind. It didn't stop that if Lewis wanted to go to the justice of the peace within those 6 years, we certainly would have done that. But in this hindsight, to your point, I don't think that it would have stopped it if it was 2 years or 4 years. It just that the years just went by so fast, and then we realized we were 6 years in. And at the same time, now when I look at it on this other side, the backside of the mountain, where God showed up and found Moses and said, "Listen, still got some work for you to do, even when you're trying to hide. I need you to go back to Egypt. I need you to go back to the very place that you ran from. Come on here. I need you to go back, Charlene, and do this again, this marriage thing again. Don't give up on the fact that just because that didn't work out, don't mean that I don't have anything else in store for you." And so on that backside, that Lewis was there, God showed up, and realizing that it was 6 years later, and I don't know, you Bible scholars help me, however long Moses had been gone from Egypt, God certainly sent him back to certainly finish the work of telling Pharaoh, a different kind of Pharaoh at that time, to say, listen, God is saying this. And so I think that was my moment, again, in hindsight, of like, wow, man, now that I know what I know, I don't believe my first marriage played any part in it, but thinking about, man, maybe it could have, because I didn't want to hurt Lewis, or nor did I not want to be a good wife to him, or what he needed from me and what I needed from him, and not be selfish either way of being open and loving and growing with him. Yeah, good question.
Wow.
Like, wow.
Wowzer.
Wow. Okay.
And Sandra, you had a question too. What's yours?
No, Maggie basically asked, I was going to ask about the first marriage. Oh, one thought is, is there any children, kids? May I
Yes.
ask? Ah,
Yes. I have a daughter here in Denver.
Uh-huh.
I have a daughter in
Henderson.
Henderson, Nevada, which is
Okay.
17 miles south of Las Vegas,
Oh, nice.
and a son in St. Louis,
In Ohio. Cleveland.
Ohio. I don't know why I
Okay.
want to say St. Louis.
Did you say Cleveland, Ohio?
Yes.
Ohio. Yeah.
I moved from Cleveland out here.
Get out
Oh,
of town.
How about that?
Wow. Wow.
About that.
Oh, my
So, do you
goodness.
know about the city Ashtabula, Ohio? No.
No, it doesn't ring a
I was
bell.
pushing it. I was pushing it.
I know. I
That
know.
doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a little city, like an hour and 15 minutes
Ah,
Mhm.
east. That's where I grew up at, and then I moved to Cleveland. Then I moved here.
I see.
Gotcha.
Oh.
Wow. We small world.
How did you like Cleveland?
It was okay. Now, winter is winter. It's not for wimps.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And summer is not for wimps.
Yes. Yes.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't want to go back there, though.
Right. Yeah.
It's a distress-like city,
Mhm. Yeah.
weather-wise. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So he has three children. I don't have any children, and we don't have any children together.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I thought so.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Grandbabies?
Oh yeah. He has two grandsons.
I have a grandson in Henderson, Nevada. He's 19 years old.
Okay.
I had to hurry and get on a plane to get there about a month ago because he had a motorcycle accident,
Oh.
and he was in ICU for some time. Well, it wasn't that long because
We pray.
prayers
Yeah.
took him out of
Mm.
ICU.
Yeah.
Took him out of ICU. Yes, and I have a grandson here in Denver who's a wonderful, wonderful young man.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, he sells insurance.
Yeah.
He's
Oh.
a wonderful young man, and just I can't say enough about him.
Mhm.
And that's it for
Yeah.
grandkids.
Mhm.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
I love it. Well, we thank y'all so much for joining us. See, this time just flew right on by.
Yes. See, right.
You all have been beautiful. It has been great
Yeah.
learning just a little piece of life that you shared with us. That has been wonderful. We speak the blessings of the Lord to continue upon the both of you,
Thank you.
upon the ministry.
Yeah.
I want to say this. I've watched both of you over the years, and I really like watching your husband
Oh.
because I watch him watching you.
See, wow.
And even whether he is ushering during the offering, whatever capacity he is serving in ministry,
Yeah.
there's this cheerleading look about him and stance about him.
Right. Yeah.
I love it. I think it is so beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Blessings. Amen. Me
Thank
too.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
You are welcome. That's real.
Amen.
Thank you.
Amen.
So we thank our viewing audience for joining us this evening in our series,
Yeah. Yes.
Our Love Story, How We Met. We will continue.
Yes.
Next week, we have the Coburns joining us to
Amen.
out the month of August with us. And I dare not end this broadcast without doing a shout out to the Jordans. They celebrated 30 years. Is that yesterday?
Oh.
Yes. Go ahead.
Yes, yesterday.
30 years yesterday.
Oh,
So
30
I think,
years.
right? I think that is so awesome that we got to enjoy an anniversary in our series. That's so
See, wow, yeah.
yes.
Oh, praise God. That's
So
beautiful.
listen, everybody, we love you, and there's
Yes.
absolutely
Well, I
nothing
hope
to do
we
about
all our couples, Apostle. I hope we all get together. All the people. That's
that would
that's
be
the
awesome.
great gathring. Come on here.
Let me name it. I like even what you named it. The great.
Come on.
I gotta write it down. I'm writing it down.
Awesome. I
The
love it.
great.
Beautiful, yeah.
So, do you think? Oh, look, let's have a meeting real quick. Live. Do you think we should do this like in a park, or should we come on live and do a broadcast, or do a live in the park broadcast?
Live in the park.
What she said. Yeah.
The great gathering. Let me tell you how awesome God is.
Love it. Yeah.
Sandra said live in the park. We've been broadcasting how many years? And every time I try to do the park, she's like, I'm not going to the park. I'm not going to the park. And she said live in the park. We doing this thing live in the park.
Come on, she done caught the vision. She done caught the vision. All the listen, write the vision, make it play. Come on here.
Shabba.
See, she caught that.
My only question is who bringing the food? Who bringing the chicken?
We all
Who
are.
bringing the chicken? Wait.
We catering. Nope, we catering.
Yeah, chicken.
We are going to plan this.
Yes.
This thing is going to happen.
Yeah.
And
It
meatloaf.
may not happen this year, so we will definitely put it on the calendar for next year.
Okay.
Yes, gathering in the park of our love story series.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Love it.
Oh, I love it.
Yay. Thank y'all.
Oh, and even Carla, she said live in the park. Let's
Yay. Come
yes.
on here, Apostle Carla. That's what I'm talking about. Let's
Yes.
go.
All right, y'all. Good evening, everybody.
Have a great evening.
God has a purpose. God has a plan. I'm living His will. He's got me in His hands. I'm chilling with purpose. God has a purpose. God has a plan. I'm living His will. He's got me in His hands. I'm chilling with purpose.